In this video, I'm going to try to flesh out some on the militia mobilization. I was thinking about it over the past couple weeks here while I was at work. I've been trying to make up for lost hours from being sick. That's why I haven't had any videos posted the last couple weeks. I've just been too busy. So I'm going to try explaining some things where there could be possible confusion with the militia mobilization video. I do recommend, if you're in a militia, check that video out. Have your unit sit down and watch it and come up with your own procedures. The views on it are okay, but it's something I expected that would be a lot more useful and would have a lot more views by now, so that was a little surprising. So I'm going to try to flesh out some information from that video with possibly 2 or 3 additional here, counting this one. Now I'm going to explain some on the rally points. I gave you in the how-to video 3 rally points, and I'll give you some explanations on it. Now, the reason there's so many rally points is you could be spread out over a wider area. Let's say you're spread out over half a state and you're all going to meet in one central location. Well, not everyone is going to, lives in the same area, so you got to come together, and that's why you have multiple rally points. So the browns on here are the initial rally points, where, say, a group of people in that closest initial rally point will get together. Then they get picked up by someone from the militia auxiliary, who then moves them to the second rally point and drops them off. Then that auxiliary member goes back to their duties. They do their part of the mobilization to support the unit, and the actual members move on to the assembly area of the unit. Now I have a few different scenarios basically set up here. So first off, I'll cover probably what would be the most basic. So the members get dropped off at a couple rally points. Let's say dropped off here at an old bus stop, here maybe in the parking lot of a big box store. They meet up with the auxiliary member that's assigned to that initial rally point for pickup, picks up the members, drops them off at the side of a road. There's no real landmark in the area. He just knows, hey, I drop them off at this point along the road, say a mile from some particular intersection, some way for them to be able to figure it out easily. The militia members dismount with all their gear. If they have carts with them, like game carts for hauling additional supplies or hauling rucksacks, whatever, they remove that stuff from the vehicle. They start getting everything set up. Now when they get there, the person that was pulling security on that rally point will meet up with them and let them know, hey, everything's good to go, no one's been in the area. It'd be the same thing at the initials too. The securities at those points would meet up with the group and give them the details once everyone shows up. So they get here, they keep security, they get their gear on, get their weapons loaded, load up the carts, and then they start following their little set path to the unit's assembly area. Now down here we have more vehicular. So we have our initial rally points. Let's say this one here is done by militia auxiliary. This one down here is done by a member of the unit who's supplying a vehicle. Let's say he has a old pickup truck that he has painted in earth tone colors, camouflage pattern, or whatever. That is going to be used by the unit when it moves around. So Same thing. Meet up at the initial rally points. Once everyone shows up, or the majority of the group shows up, the link up time with the transport arrives, the transport shows up. They then move on to their secondary. Their secondary at this point, I'm giving them an old abandoned farm place. This farm place is owned by a family member of one of the members of the unit. And he stores at that farm place possibly some vehicles. It could be some type of gator, ATVs, snowmobiles if you're in winter time. It could be, say, some old Jeep or an old SUV, an old truck, something like that. They meet up there, they get ready. The person that was driving his pickup truck from here, you know, he's still got it. And then they follow whatever path that they have to get to the rally point. Let's say this here is like a dirt road, a minimum use road, something like that, a logging trail or something. So this unit is semi-motorized. Now up over here we have a initial meet up at, get driven down to an area next to a river. The members get out and then they walk in to a certain point along the river. They get ready. At that point along the river will be some disposable type boats that were hidden. Now those boats should be tied to trees, tied to posts and that type of stuff in case the river rises. It won't sweep the boats away. They should be camouflaged as well as possible. Make them look like they were junk. Maybe hide them under some piles of rotten sticks, rotten logs, that type of thing. But they get there, they clear away the boats, they do a quick check on them to make sure there's no holes. Nothing's happened to them since the previous inspection, which should have been less than a year before, preferably less than 6 months before. They then get on the boats, they paddle their way to the bend of the river, which they know is their dismount point, hide the boats, and then move into the assembly area. Now, this one over here is a compromised rally point. So everyone showed us up at their initial rally point. Everything's fine so far. They get picked up by their militia auxiliary. They start moving to their second rally point. On the way there, the security element has put out the warning marker. There was a red piece of cloth tied to a tree. They stop. They then backtrack. Take the alternate route to the emergency rally point. We'll call our emergency rally point in this area, which this emergency rally point would cover here and here. And then there would be Echo 2 over here for these rally points. They get to the Echo 1 rally point. They meet up there and they tell the security at that rally point what happened, that this one was compromised. If they have any information, they let them know. If all they seen was the emergency marker was out, that's what they report. They got close, they seen the red flag in the tree, rally point Delta has been compromised. So then the security here radios that up to the unit. The TOC knows that that Delta is compromised. If there's any other elements that are on the way to Delta, they then notify them. They notify that auxiliary member by cell phone or radio or whatever and tells them, hey, you got to move on, this location is compromised. Go to the secondary camping site, whatever nicknames or call signs or code words you give for the emergency. When they're at the emergency rally point here, because they're close to the river, they will then either hump along the river to the assembly area, or they could have some other boats that are hidden down here too, near the emergency rally point, and they start moving people down. It may take a couple trips. You may not have enough boats at the emergency rally point. You may need 4 boats, but you only have 2 here. Well, then you make down 2 trips. You send a boat up, drop off people, 2-man crew on each boat, brings the boat back, picks up the rest of the people, and they come up to the final assembly area. Now at the final assembly area, that is where the headquarters should have set up first. They should almost move to the assembly area first. Probably they'll have their own little initial rally point, and then that would be their second rally point. They'll just go ahead straight in, so they get set up so that they can be in a location, they can receive the different updates, and they can send out information as to shifting people around if something's been compromised. Now at the assembly point for the unit, you are going to have members that are not going to have enough gear. That just happens, okay? Some people just don't have the money. But ideally, if someone's been in the unit, they've been attending regularly, they've been in the unit a year, year and a half, they should have every piece of the recommended packing list. And if they don't, you really should put a fire under their butt to make sure that they get it. Now you'll have newer members that won't have much. They may have a weapon and they may have a uniform, and that's it. Well, something that I've heard that is being done at different militias across the U.S., they have different supply caches or gear caches that are spare uniforms, spare boots, possibly spare weapons, some ammo, magazines, spare field gear. Well, at this assembly point here, it should be located near some type of cache like that. So your new members will be brought together. You know, find out who's short what. You know, this person's short 2 canteens. This person's short a good pair of boots. All he has is running shoes, so on and so forth. You find out what's needed. Go to the cache that's there of the spare equipment, spare gear, issue it out to them. Now the stuff they get there won't necessarily be the top of the line stuff. It's not going to be 511 gear. It's not going to be, you know, brigade quartermaster or whatever. It's not going to be, you know, super special forces Mali stuff. It's going to be basic stuff. Older style, you know, Alice gear. Old East German military surplus web gear. You know, whatever is available that people were able to get a hold of cheap and donate to the unit. That is collected up at these points, and that's what gets issued out. You know, they're not going to get, you know, the Mali rucksack that they were expecting. They're going to get a medium-sized Alice pack. They're not going to get, you know, super tactical boots. They're going to get a basic issue of recruit boots. Old style used recruit boots that someone was able to pick up at a surplus store that are still serviceable, but you know, they're in rough shape. Once everyone's there, everyone shows up here at this location no more than 24 hours, they move out. Now it could be possible you meet at this location and then you move on to your emergency rally points and pick up the people that were left there. If they know someone at that rally point is short gear, they should pick it up from the cache and bring it with them to give to that person. We're at the emergency rally location. Now, if anyone has any questions on this, I didn't explain it well enough, go ahead and ask. I'm just trying to give you somewhat of an idea on how this works. Think of this as you're constantly getting smaller in your numbers of elements, but the people in each group gets larger and larger. So let's say for this rally point up here, we have 3 or 4 coming to this location. And then they meet up there and then move in. And here at the final assembly point, let's say we got 6 secondary assembly points we're waiting to come into one location. Okay? You're a giant group constantly getting in, getting more concentrated till you're a fist. Okay? Now, for all my engineer brothers in the Patriot and Militia movements, always remember, essayons.